How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. If you guys have followed my channel in the last few years, we built a whole entire homestead. And on that homestead, there was a bench that I said one day that when we get settled down, I would restore it and use it around the house. So I'm going to show you the bench, and we're going to restore it. So this is the bench. I've had this bench here for about, like I said, 4 years. It's all the boards are really bad. As you can see, they're pretty rotten. And I thought it would be a cool project to take this bench and restore it and put it back to use. Very rough looking little bench. So I think it'll be fun restoring this thing and making it look good. So we're going to get it in the shop, and we're going to get all the boards off of it, get it all stripped down, and get the metal repainted, and cut all new boards for it, and see what it looks like when we get finished. Alright, I'm going to get started on restoring the old bench, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get some measurements. I got a pencil and a paper here, and we're going to write down some measurements of the length of this wood we're going to need to cut, and make sure we do it right. So it looks like about 37 inches on our boards. So we'll make sure we cut the boards 37 inches. And then we're going to need at least 20 bolts to bolt this in. And I'm going to use a carriage bolt. So that way they'll be rounded on the top. We'll clean them up and paint them. That way they kind of match the bench. I think that'll work pretty good. Not really much to it. We're probably going to have to get another beam for down here. It's a 1 inch by 1/4 inch bar. It's a flat bar down here, about 34 inches long. I'll have to get another one of them. I noticed one of them is missing on the bottom. So that's something that we're going to need to replace, because we don't want this bench. We don't want it like this. We want it to look perfect and set on the ground nice and even. So we're going to get ready to start cutting some of these boards off. And I think we're going to make a beautiful little bench here. We will be putting this on the front porch. The old log bench that we had put on there, when we put the heater in there, it split that bench pretty much in half. But a friend of mine said he would really like to have that bench, so we're going to replace it with this one here. So let's get started. So I'm going to have to cut all these bolts because they're just not going to come off. I don't know, maybe I could heat them up. What do you think, Joel?
I don't know, did you try to?
I never tried to heat them.
I mean, did you try to take them off?
Yeah, they're little, like, flathead bolts. I'd rather take them out than cut them out, but could try one. See what it does. Oh, heck, that one's coming right out. One less I have to cut.
One out of how many?
Oh, that one's coming out. What the heck? I thought I was going to have to cut all these.
I said, did you try them first?
No, some of them ain't going to.
Well, just get the ones you can, and then...
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering if I could heat any of them. Yeah, I'd rather take them out without heating them. Or without grinding them. If I could. Oh, no way. Let me see if I put some heat on that boat. Come on. Probably catch a shark on fire. That little bit of heat took that one out.
Better than listening to that grinder.
Yeah. One board down. It's coming off easy. That's 4 loose. 2 boards off, 4 bolts out. think they're coming out. Slowly but surely. Be nice if I could see the head down there. Okay, where's it? Just coming out. Now, surprisingly, these bolts are all coming out with a little bit of heat. They're coming out pretty good so far. Okay, that's the last one on this side of the bench. These all will just pop right out of there. I'm debating on whether I want to reuse them or not. I think we could if we wanted. So we just got to work on the other side now, getting the other ones out of the other side. Alright, this is our last bolt. If we can get this one out, we have got every one of them unbolted. And I think what we're going to try to do, I think we're going to try to clean these bolts up and reuse them. I think that would be pretty awesome to try to use as much as we possibly can that came from the bench back on the bench. So basically we're just going to be painting the railing and replacing all the boards, and we're going to try to use all the same bolts because they all came out. Alright, I think I have everything I want tore apart. The only thing else there would be doing is taking the rivets out of these guys. And I don't really want to take the rivets out of them. We're going to clean this the best that we can, and we're going to get it put back together. We're going to do some painting to it because this is actually going to go inside my house, so I want it to look pretty good. We're going to have to come up with another one of these 1 by quarter by however, it looks like about 34 inches or whatever. We're going to have to come up with another one of these. I think getting it cleaned up real good next would be the best thing. And I really like the old original bolts, but they're really rough. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean one of these up and see if I can make it look good. The stove bolts, if I was to use the stove bolts, I'd want to clean this up and paint them so they're not shiny sticking out of there, because you know we're going to be putting black walnut on this and we want it to look good. So I don't know, it might be the original bolts. I might try to use the original bolts, but if it doesn't work, we do have new bolts and nuts here just in case those I can't get to work. We're also going to be using a black Rust-Oleum matte finish paint on this. Semi-gloss, not matte finish, it says semi-gloss. So we'll be using a semi-gloss black paint on this, trying to match it up with the picnic table that we put on the porch. So, lots of cleaning to do, and then we're going to start on this wood. We got to get the wood cut for this thing. Probably the right way to do this would be pull them rivets out there, but I don't have rivets to put back in it, so we're going to do our best what we have here to work with. Alright, this is the other half of the bench. I've been sitting here cleaning it and I was looking at these. This is what rests on the ground. And look how thin that is from this bench. I'm just curious. Wonder how old this bench is. Because these are actually rubbed pretty thin. So this might be a pretty old bench. I'm not sure. It's got rivets, which I know rivets should be old. But both of these are rubbed really thin. Look at this. Look how thin that is from being drug around. This one here also really thin. But it's not going to bother us any. It's not going to be drug around. Just sitting on the porch. Alright, we have one bolt done. It's drying there. Got it painted on some cardboard. A bolt and a nut. So what we're going to do is I'll show you how I get it to this point. And then we'll finish them up. So what I do is I'll take one bolt. And I'll find one nut. And we'll screw it on here the best that we can. Then we'll take it to the wire brush in there. Because the wire brush is going to clean up our threads and all this rust off of it. Now once I got the bolt all cleaned up, I'll go ahead and clamp it in my little vise here. And what we'll do is we'll run one of these chasers on there. This little kit right here will just clean the rust out of the threads and straighten them up. If they be bumped or look like they were smashed, it will take care of that for me. So all we have to do is, now some of these are screwing right down on. Now they may just screw right down on, no problem at all. As long as it screws down on and screws back off, then our nut will screw down on and screw back off. So this looks like this thread is pretty good and clean. The wire brush takes a lot of it out of there. This is just in case it might have been bumped or something. So we'll take this and then we'll take our nut. We're going to do the same thing with our nut. We're going to chase it with one of these thread cleaners. And if it goes through, now see that one got in a little bit of a bind, so we'll go ahead and make it go through. That way this nut is going to go on real easy now. Alright. So at this point we know that our bolt should screw right down in the nut really good. And then when I'm finished with that, I am taking, I know I used the wire brush on it, but it's not cleaning down in this, where your flathead screwdriver goes. So we're just cleaning that out really good. To make sure that's good and clean. Then I'll take, this is some paint thinner. We'll clean this bolt up. The bolt and the nut, clean it up. We'll grab our piece of cardboard. We'll jam us a screwdriver down through there. And we'll put our next bolt on. Now I got 20 of these to do, and I'm sure you guys don't want to sit and watch me clean 20 bolts. Now when we get them all cleaned up and on the board, we'll get you back in here and we'll get them sprayed up. Okay, all of our bolts have been cleaned and put on the board so they can be painted. It's just going to go over them with some paint. Now over the threads, we might have to clean the threads a little bit more, but that's okay. We'll run those, we'll clean them up. Gonna give them a light coat of paint. You don't want to go crazy with this. You just want to go a light coat. Alright, we'll let our bolts dry. I'm glad we decided to do that. It was a little bit of extra work, but I think it's going to be nicer using the original bolts. Okay, we used the black Rust-Oleum semi-gloss paint on both of our legs and the one brace. And I'll show you that here. This is one of the cross braces on that little bench, and it is a 1/4 inch thick. So I went to Lowe's and I thought they had the 1/4 inch strips. They didn't. They had 3/16, and I don't think there's any reason why I can't use 3/16 on the back of there. So we're just going to be cutting this piece to size, and we'll be drilling it out and making another one of these braces here, because you really need that crisscross in the back of that bench to keep that bench from swaying back and forth. We want it to be good and sturdy because there's going to be a lot of people sitting on that bench. It's going to get a lot of use where we're putting it. So I tell you what, we got some wood out here. I did bring some wood in the shop that we're going to cut up for this bench. I'm going to try to use a couple live edge pieces. I'm hoping to be able to use a couple live edge pieces, but we're going to do black walnut. I think that's going to look great, and it's going to go good with our porch with all the black walnut that's already in there. So I'm going to get some wood out and see if we can get it cut up and get it planed down, and hopefully get to putting this thing together this weekend. I've been it's really close to Christmas, and I'm sure you guys know that Julie and I do a whole lot of projects, and especially around Christmas, because a lot of those projects we build are Christmas gifts, or you know, things for our grandkids and different things like that. You guys can always go over and check out Julie's channel. We do a lot of projects on her channel too, and a lot of them are Christmas projects, holiday projects, different things like that. So check out Julie's channel. She's got some pretty good stuff on there too. I'll leave a link at the top of the page for Julie's channel, and you guys check it out, and don't forget to subscribe. Julie needs more watch time and some more subscribers. So let's get on this wood. Okay, I've been working on a few pieces of wood here. It's going to take a total of 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 pieces. And some of them were 2.5, and a couple of them were about 3. But I think we'll be able to squeeze it out. The only thing is on these smaller pieces of wood here, these bigger pieces, I may only be able to get 2 3/8 instead of 2.5. But I think it'll still work out fine. And we're going to use this piece here for the upper piece and the lower piece. So we'll have one, because we wanted live edge on the upper piece and the lower. So the first and last piece we put on will be live edge. So I'm going to go in there and see if I can get these cut down to size now, the width of them. A couple of them I'll leave a little wider. I think the bottom ones ought to be a little skinnier down on the bottom, and then the 2 on the top where your back goes should be a little wider, because the bench curves down and goes like that. So I'm going to work on getting these cut down to size, even smaller than this. Okay, we have more than enough of these guys cut out. Now, here's the thing. I got a few extra ones just in case. I'm not so sure we can do the live edge piece at the very end where your legs would go. Maybe with a bunch of sanding, I don't know. But I got a couple extra ones in case something goes bad and we need an extra one. We'll have a couple of them. So now that we got them all cut to the length, and the width, we're going to take them in there and run them through the planer, because all this wood came off of our sawmill about 2 years ago. So we'll go ahead and get these planed down, and then we're going to do some other stuff to them before we even get started. Okay, we're down to about 13/16 of an inch. About 13/16. I think that's okay. It's really close to that 3/4, and that should give us a little bit more strength on these boards, hopefully. Okay, now that we got all of our holes drilled, I got my router here. This is one of my old routers. I got a round over bit set up in it. And we're just going to round the edges of this because we don't want anybody's legs to get stuck on anything. No sharp edges for anything like that. Then we're going to do some sanding. But first, we got to get all these edges rounded. Now the top piece and the very bottom piece of the bench, we're only going to round this edge and this edge. Of course, these two edges here are live edge, and I kind of wanted that look on my bench. So let's get our ear protection on and give this thing a try. Hopefully we can get this to turn out pretty good. Alright, we have all of our edges all planed down or routed down with the round over bit. We're going to clean off the table, and now we're going to sand each and every one of these down really good with some good sandpaper, probably a 220 sandpaper, just to get them nice and smooth. We don't want any splinters. Alright, that was a whole lot of sand in there to get these done. Now I'm going to check the bolts. I know these bolts are a little bit tapered at the top, so I may have to taper each one of these holes so they go in, because we don't want the bolts sticking out of the board here for sure. So that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to taper these a little bit. So we'll get a bigger bit, something that we can drill in there and just get that little bit of a taper on there, and that's going to work out pretty good. We're just about done with this and getting ready to put it back together. Just taper these holes, get everything dusted off, and then start putting it together. Hopefully it works. Alright, the only thing I got to taper these holes is this huge drill bit. It's doing okay, but it doesn't want to drill like kind of perfectly straight. Kind of wobbles in there a little bit, but it is doing the job. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I think we're going to bolt each board on as we get them finished drilled here, and so we can get this bench set up. So I'm going to clean off the table, clean off what I got here, and start putting this together one board at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. Put that in the front.
So
Top one.
the very top. Okay. These are the original bolts.
These are all the original bolts, believe it or not.
That's cool.
I was able to use them. But let's get... I know that's not going to hold there until I get a few in, you know.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to taper them bolts is that big drill bit, and it's not doing a real good job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is tapered. So that board there goes
This
next.
one goes next. Okay.
Yeah, let me
Is
taper the
there a
two
top and a
holes.
bottom to
No.
it?
Nope. Here, I need
Oh, you
to
gotta
taper the
them.
holes.
Okay. Just trying to countersink them a little bit.
Yeah. Get 2 bolts off of there.
I should have put some lotion on my hands. Look at
There's nuts on the back of them, Joel.
Oh! Well, I didn't know. No wonder I'm trying
That's
to
how I
pull.
cleaned them.
Like, jeez. I couldn't get that. Yeah, look at my hands. They're all dried out. Oh, my goodness.
Hey, just think, I cleaned all 19 of them, or 18, whatever it was. Here, give me that one. I'll start it now.
No wonder I couldn't get that bolt to come through there. I'm like, it's only cardboard.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it's, I don't like how that's tapering. I was going to call you and tell you to pick me up a thing for it. But
Oh, I'm sure it's fine. What's wrong with it?
okay, gotta get mine in. Get my nut started here.
Hold on.
These boards are a little heavier than the original boards.
This one, I think the leg needs moved in a little bit. There we go. I think you should try to put a smaller door up there so we can go in
I
and
would
out.
like to have one in the middle of one of them doors.
Yes, definitely.
Come on, Ronnie.
You don't have to knock.
This is the shop.
Hey,
You don't have to
must have
know.
heard us. I just mentioned your name.
Oh,
And
yeah?
you pulled in the driveway. Yeah, we're finally getting this bench done, and I told Kevin, I said, oh, you're going to have to call Ronnie. Come get his one out of the house.
Can you get it?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, yesterday I had a little bit of issue with the camera. The battery kept going dead on me, but today we're starting fresh. We got a new battery in there, and I just wanted to finish up the video. We did a pretty good job, I think, restoring this thing. We even used the original bolts that came out of the old bench. The only thing we really had to do was replace the wood, and then we had to replace one of the metal beams, the cross beams on the bottom, the support beams. But other than that, a little bit of paint, and we got us, I think, a beautiful park bench. And like I said, we're going to be putting this on the porch. The old log bench got a big split in it. A buddy of mine wanted it, gave it to him out the door. We're going to be putting this in on the porch. And I think we have a bench here that will last us for years to come. Now, I did put my brand on the back of it. And I like to do that to basically everything I build in this shop now gets a brand. Just to say that it was made by me, which is pretty cool too. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And don't forget, in the description down below, we'll leave a link for Amazon. If you guys are doing any type of shopping, that helps us out here on the channel. We do appreciate it. So I would like to say thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment if you'd like. Till next time.